Welcome, one and all.
Hey, everybody.
Time music. Sleepy time.
Sleepy time music, right?
We need up music. I got to get up music for the beginning of the show again. I miss that.
Welcome to the only Flutter show that's in YOLO mode all the time.
Cool. It's up to you, Simon. Give us the next statement, quick.
Hang on. What have I got here?
I don't know. What do you got? Oh, look at that. Ooh.
Festive.
Right.
That is a great point. By the way, I will miss next week because of Christmas. I don't know if you all are around or not, but I'm not going to be no matter what.
Oh, that would be a little tough to do Christmas Eve. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see what we
and
can
I'm probably going to miss. But not 100%. But I'll probably miss New Year's Eve too. So
yeah,
I don't know. Whatever plans. Yeah.
So I will likely be here. I am getting on a flight at 6 a.m. in the morning, and we'll be landing back home at like 8. So I'll be here, but I'm going to need Randall levels of caffeination to be coherent.
Yeah,
I might fall asleep on stream. Who knows?
hey guys, I'm here.
That's an inside joke because a half hour before the show, I always say I'm up and caffeinating as a way of like getting ready to come on the show. So it's and I've got this giant bottle of diet soda sitting next to me here that I'm not showing for a change. So here I am.
That's a great question, Lane. We should definitely have some time where Randall dances with Dash on screen.
I do that sometimes with the opening. I do this stuff, the opening, but not always. Right. Dash is fine sitting over his side. It's true. At least a singer. Since I host karaoke sessions and I'm doing the live streaming inside Second Life this New Year's Eve, so it'll be fun. Same thing I've done it for like 5 or 6 years in a row, where we count in from noon or from midnight in Europe all the way to midnight in the Pacific Northwest, and so there's a DJ for every hour or two block, and I've got the last 2 hours as I have for the last 3 or 4 years. So
did you just say DJ. Second Life?
Second Life. Yeah.
Second Life still exists. I remember Second Life. Man, when I was a kid, I thought it was the future. I was like, this is what the internet's going to be like someday. And
they finally changed from Linden Script to Lua. So it's easier to program stuff. Yeah.
That makes it so much better.
Well, Linden Script was really crappy. It was a really weird, arbitrary language that didn't match anything else and had a lot of holes in the sort of the.
You just like kind of spoke about any scripting language ever.
You know what?
Every scripting language is just like that.
Yeah.
The problem with Lua is just like you need to have like it's totally dynamic, right? And most of these script languages are dynamic. And the problem with those dynamic languages, you get 0 suggestions, you get 0 IntelliSense.
Right.
You kind of like you've got to have really good tooling to get anything out of them.
At least Lua makes slightly more sense than Tickle. Tickle always just mind-boggled me.
Was it intercal, which is the one you had to say please, and if you say please too much, it stops running your code because you're too
gracious,
too nice.
Or whatever it is.
And then if you say please enough in your code, it stops running your code because you're not being nice enough.
Yeah.
Wait. Is this? What is this? I am so confused right now, Simon.
There's a language called intercal. You got to look it up.
Intercal.
You had to put please before your statements for it to run it.
Yes,
but
right.
If you put too much, it stops running. If you don't use enough, it stops running it.
Yes.
So like if you need something like let's say that
and the compiler, there's no one that ever tells you how much please you have to use.
Right. Yes.
I'm just like, could you like overwrite a const by doing pretty please, or
maybe.
Right. It's like you could turn a const into a variable by doing a pretty please.
And the sugar
Honestly,
on top.
it's like when it stops working, when you write your code, you stops working, you say, now you input please in. See that? Please will you do? It's like,
well, and just like one more old age irrelevant reference. AOL web server was a product for a while, and its scripting language was not Perl but Tickle. So all of your
what is Tickle?
TCL toy command.
Oh, got it.
Really tool command language, but toy command language worked a lot better, which we would
like
out except for expect and Tickle TK, so you could do graphical display stuff. Those two products made Tickle stick around for a while.
Please give up.
Yeah. Please give up. Please do.
Nice.
I think it. Oops. Where is it? Yeah. If please does not appear often enough, the program is considered insufficiently polite, and the error message says this. If it appears too often, the program could be rejected as excessively polite.
So here's the question: Can you put the compiler into Canadian mode where it expects a greater number of pleases?
And if it's British, it has to say sorry all the time. You have to say sorry.
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
Sorry, can you put that in variable 6?
Yeah. Right. We're
do introductions. Let's do introductions.
Let's do introductions.
The Christmas thing threw me off. It's like it's not really a show until the Christmas thing goes away. There we go.
There we go. We've got something. We're getting something up on the screen now. Not the title. Where's
yes.
The title? I've lost the title. Oh no. There it is. My name's Simon Lightfoot, Flutter Community Leader, CTO of Dev Angels London, and you can follow me at Dev Angels London on Twitter and other social medias. Randall.
I'm Randall Schwartz. I am a karaoke KJ part-time, and I'm also a Dart and Flutter Google developer expert. Been that for about 6-7 years, somewhere in there. And I'm also, for this show, the Question Magician, which means that I am watching the live chat. If you put Q: in front of your chat statement, then I will notice it, flag it, and read it back in the order that it's given. Don't say the same thing twice. If you say it the second time, I remove the first one and add the second one, so you lose your place in line. So don't do that. And during the day, I'm a full-time Dart and Flutter coder, as often as people need me to do that. Danielle?
Sure, absolutely. I'm Danielle Cox. I am the Flutter team lead for a company called Ardley, and we're a startup. And I'm also one of the organizers of the Flutteristas, which is an amazing organization of women and non-binary. Well, actually, it's an organization of amazing women and non-binary Flutter enthusiasts, I would say. So if you qualify for that and you want to join, you don't know about us, do that. Go ahead and hit me up, like find me on one of the socials or something, so I can make sure we push you through, because we still have a backlog even a year later going on with stuff. So that's me. John's not with us today, but we do have Matt. Go ahead.
Hey, my name is Matthew, also known as Makerinator on the interwebs. I'm a senior mobile developer for a fairly large bank, but my thing that I'm actually excited about is my YouTube channel. So if you hit Makerinator on YouTube, you can find all the crazy, weird, silly stuff that I build with Flutter. And the most recent video was actually uploaded yesterday. And that is, I developed a present peeker trap. So if my wife peeks at her Christmas present early, it records a video of her face, so I've got the evidence. It sounds an alarm, and then it uploads it to Firebase, and I get a push notification on my phone saying that someone peeked at their present. I can tap it, and then there's video of on my phone of the peeker in action. So definitely don't leave Humpday to watch that. Finish Humpday, but then as soon as you're done with Humpday, make that your next thing that you watch. So video.
I'm gonna say you had to carry that today. So today, in 2 hours, just under 2 hours from now, the Flutter channel is doing a live stream, which is a part 2 of their thing. So probably everyone should transition over to that after our stream finishes.
Gotcha. Well, okay, so finish this stream, then watch the Flutter stream, and then watch Makeronator do something stupid.
Right.
Your evening is now set.
Your entire day is now set. That's correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Now, if you were to ignore that and click on the Flutter thing now, it's showing up as a private video. We think because something messed up there, and so it should be back to being normal. Correct? We think.
Yeah. We would hope
at that time. It will stream at that time. We think that someone might have pressed the stream button a bit too early. So they've made the video private, and I'm assuming that they're gonna either make a new link or oh look, 21 waiting. It's now back in.
It's back now. Okay, good.
Oh,
now back in its wait mode. Okay. But interesting enough, it now says notify me when I already did that before, so they've made a new link.
That's a new link. Yes.
Which is a problem because it's always the link, not a All right.
We've had this problem before where we pressed the button a bit too early or ended the stream or whatever, and then it is happening. You can't restart it once you end it. So
we talked about that beforehand. By we, you probably mean me.
I did not say that.
No, we did not point in that. We did not point in that corner of the screen. No, we didn't. We didn't point sort of in that general direction. Not at all.
Exactly.
We keep out.
It's getting tiny in here. All right.
So all right. So do me a favor because I go back and forth. I'm sorry, real quick. I just after introductions there. Should I be calling you Matt or should I be calling you Matthew? Should I be calling you Matt in private, Matthew on the stream? What should I be calling you?
You can call me whatever you want, to be completely honest with you. Anything but late for dinner. I generally go by Matthew. That's like my preference.
Okay.
But if
it's now Makeronator.
It's now Makeronator. Yeah, if you want to call me Mr. Nader, that's the best part. No.
Mr. Nader.
Yeah, Mr. Nader. Oh, God, no. Yeah, I strictly go by Makeronator. You can call me whatever you want, but I prefer Matthew. But if you call me Matt, I'm not upset. It's cool.
It's going to be Matthew now. I'll be better about it.
No worries.
I was thinking Matthew, but then I was panicking, and I hear other people call you Matt, and I'm like,
that might be me.
It's I prefer Matthew, but it's not a big deal. I'm not going to correct anyone. I'm not going to I have very close friends that call me Matt, and it's not a big deal. So it's cool.
It's quite funny when I hear Matthew. It just reminds me of when a parent strict with their child, because instead of saying the nickname, it's they say the full name and come here right now or whatever it is, or don't do that.
Yeah. See, that's the thing. It's I've always went by Matthew. So I was a little kid and I'm terrible at sports. I am absolutely terrible at sports. But at one point I was in T-ball and I was running to the wrong dugout and the coach just kept screaming, Matt, Matt, Matt. And it didn't register in my brain because I was I'm not Matt. My name's Matthew, right? And so my mom always had to call me Matthew because that was my preference. So when I was in trouble, it was Matthew Robert. That's when the middle name came out is when I was in trouble. So
yeah,
I was thinking it was Matthew and Nader.
Matthew and Nader. Okay. So here's
the line somewhere. Has to draw the line somewhere.
Yeah. Matthew and Nader Jones. No. But that's a great idea. Yeah. So I don't know if you've seen. There's a few famous streamers that have had AI versions of themselves generated, AI voice, video, generation, everything. And so maybe I should do that, and then I'll call the AI version of Matthew and Nader, and so you can talk to Matthew and Nader between. Yeah.
Yeah, it would work.
Right.
Yep.
We had to
We've got one
We're not going to
question.
do do's and don'ts. We can skip the do's and don'ts. Everyone knows the do's and don'ts. Don't be an idiot.
Just
be nice.
go watch the last
Have
47 shows.
I know. Every past show has it, right?
Yes. Right.
However, I will say that if you do want to, again, post any question you like in the chat. Make sure you've got a queue in front of them, all the usual stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And also, if you want to post any code, then you want to follow this little handy little guide right here. Basically, go onto GitHub, go to gists or gist.new, pop in the description, make sure the file name ends in .darts. We get the syntax highlight, paste in your code. You also put a comment in there with description, whatever it is, and then you need to copy the hash and put the hash into your chat message in the live chat, and we can look it up based on that hash. if you post a link, like the full link, even that won't get through to us. In fact, your entire message doesn't get through to us. So don't post any links. They're completely filtered out to stop spamming completely. So just to warn you right now, don't do that. Otherwise, you'll be quite going, why haven't you read my question? It's like, because we didn't get your question.
Yeah. That's happened almost every show. Almost every show, somebody said, why aren't you talking about me? And it's because they put a URL in their question. And we don't ever see that. Yep. It's not like we're ignoring you. We just haven't seen you.
Now, here's a question for you. Were we going to do some live coding last week and we didn't get to it? I'm trying to remember.
Yes, I believe that is the case. We were going to, and I don't remember what we were going to live. Oh, yes, we were working on the Makerinator blog in Jasper.
Oh, Jasper didn't do what we wanted. No, it was the web dev stuff didn't work the way I was expecting.
Right.
I think we'll skip out on that one for the moment because it'd be nice to actually, get it working the way we want. But
right. We actually have a question if you want to start with questions.
Sure.
Okay, here we go. This is what we do. Arthur Ross, a name I can finally pronounce. how to make page snapping physics like YouTube Shorts and Instagram. Just page flip, right? Page thing.
Just a page view.
Snapping. Yeah.
So you can set you can interesting enough. There's a page physics. It's called page physics, I think. Oh, blimey. Basically, you can actually put the snapping physics is done. The snapping is done by the physics of the scroll, and that can be put on anything scrolling. So if you've got list view, you can make it snap. You don't have to use a page view to do that. A page view is just basically a list view with some pre-declared things on it. Page physics, I think it was called page physics. No, page scroll physics. Page scroll physics. There you go. So yeah, you can just instantiate a page scroll physics on any of the scrolling views, and that's exactly what it is. You just have to set the scroll to vertical rather than horizontal. That's about it, really. Yep. If you do use a page view, you do use a page. If you have the page scroll physics, you can use a page controller with a list view. Even same thing. It's just a scroll controller. And then you'll get notified when a page changes, and that's how you then you can then know if I want to load in another video or stop the current video and all that kind of stuff. To be clear, if you're trying to make something like YouTube Shorts or Instagram where you're scrolling through videos, that is a very tough thing to do. Many people have tried, and many people have done. No,
people have failed.
It's very difficult because video in itself is quite difficult. How do you make sure that it's buffered enough before you play it? How do you it's when there's a velocity, like someone's skipping through lots of videos, how do you make sure that you preload enough ahead to never have them catch up to the loading spinner? It's not as simple as it sounds, put it that way. You get the basic thing working. As soon as you try and do something more advanced, it's gonna have you spending a lot of time scratching your head. So you've been warned.
Is this true or false? You don't think page scroll physics works on desktop? It works the same on desktop as it does anywhere, right?
You can have it work. I don't know if it changes, but you can have it work. The carousel view acts differently on desktop. I'm not sure about page view. Would have to go look, but the difference here is more about how scroll works on desktop. So by default on desktop, you don't click and drag, right? Because it's not a. I think this is the problem. Maybe you're running into there, Philip, is that you don't click and drag on desktop. That stopped working. You can scroll your mouse wheel, and then it will eventually knock over. But then you need to add enough of you have to change the amount it scrolls so that you can scroll your mouse wheel. To be honest, that interaction of trying to page isn't a desktop interaction. You just wouldn't do that, right? Up or down like that. But if you do want to do that, on mouse scroll, yeah. Well, this is what I just said. You need to add no, but you can actually do it with click and drag if you're trying to do that, and you just need to turn it on. At the top level, you can change the interaction with the app to being touch rather than desktop. Now all the touch stuff from mobile works on desktop. there's a flag for that. We can done it before. We can go dig it out if you want, but yeah. Hopefully that helps.
Next question. Should be simple to answer. Jasper should still support web.dart package. Actually, I think it only supports that now. Isn't everything moved over?
It does support it. So what it is Jasper. You prefers to use Jasper Serve, not Web Dev Serve. That's one thing. Jasper now supports a static site generation, which it didn't directly before. It had to be server-side render. There was some other client thing. It's its own thing. Again, that should be resolved now with Jasper. But the problem here is that the web dev there's a web dev config file which lets you override the URL so that all of your local paths resolve back to the index page. That is part of the web dev config, and that only works on Flutter Web. So until that works on Jasper and on Web Dev Serve, I think it's like no point trying to deal with that deep linking stuff we're trying to look at, right? And we have to publish it, right? And it just gets more complicated to do on a live stream.
Yeah, now we get to riff for a while because no questions. Come on, people, type your questions in. Q colon in the front of them, and we'll get to them right away. No waiting right now. No waiting.
I was thinking it could be fun to. I started that Journal Club app, and I've not really had any time to work on it, so we could fit around with that
Club
a bit.
app?
What's a Journal Club? Yeah.
I've been through this. I have with everyone. All right,
go watch the back.
Let's talk about it. Why not? Right.
Sure.
So there's a website called, funny enough, Journal Club. Let me bring it up. Let's see, bring it up on stream.
Do I need my actual journal? I have it here if we need it.
Good.
So
secret.
This kind of headline says it all really at the moment.
And I have a club sandwich right here. Look at this.
Perfect. Between Randall and I, we've got a journal club.
Journal club, yes, right.
So what they do is they look at all the current, academic papers coming out, and then they basically do a and I have to log in. Hang on a minute. Well, I don't know. There's free ones, but let me. I am logged in. Hang on a minute. Let's just choose. I think they got one on software development. Yeah, software engineering. There you go. FastLAM, load balancing SDN, memory leak detection. There you go. Combining static analysis with directed symbolic execution for scalable and accurate memory leak detection. There you go. So that was the original paper, right? And what they actually do is they do there's a video, there's an audio, and then they actually they do like a little write up, and then you get a nice conclusion. So the nice thing here is that it's just rather than having to review like a complex paper and look at all the mathematics and all the proof behind it all, which is fine. It's fine, but I'm not interested. I want to know the abbreviation of what they all is, right? I want to know the analysis. I also want it done by people who actually are into that topic and understand that subject, right? And that's what they guarantee with this, right? Whereas, you can talk about AI summarization, but a lot of the stuff that are in journals is stuff that AI has never seen before. It doesn't understand the concepts involved, right? So there's not because it's so bleeding edge, AI can't deal with it properly, right? And it's going to get it wrong. So it's really nice to actually see, read. But anyway, the problem here is it's all done on a website, right? And I want it on an app. So,
no, that's awesome. Is this a paid service? Is this something?
It is a paid service, yeah.
Okay. I was about to say, because I don't know what it is internationally, but in the States, to get access to academic papers, you have to have access to some ridiculously expensive databases to get that. And fortunately, depending on where you live, a lot of our public libraries do have access to those databases, so you can find stuff. But still, it is. What they're doing is well worth it, because as a layperson, sometimes it's hard to dig in and understand what the paper's saying. So that's cool.
I've got to say, it's not even just that; it's also just about the time it takes, right? So
sure. Do they have an API then, or what's the plan for? Okay, never mind.
I've made an API. No.
Perfect. That's all we need to know.
it's obviously you still need to have an account and everything. Like it's not like you get it for free. And the key here is that there is no service that there's no back end to this, right? Like it's going straight to their system, which means that there's no, there's no copying of any data. This is all accessed through your own account. So what I did, let me bring this up on stream. So anyway, I started on the app. I made it functional. I got login working and everything else. I have it downloading the papers and displaying the content, which is all good. However, the design has much to be desired. So let me bring this up on stream. So I was actually impressed with Craig's work he did the other day. I saw him using the Stitch. I thought, you know what, I'll give that a go. So I said to Stitch, I said, okay, I want X, Y, Z, and it started putting some designs together, right? Terms and condition privacy policy, whatever it is. And I cannot grab the edge of that apparently. Wow. It's still beta, so anyway. So that's interesting. Anyway, so I've kind of taken some inspiration. This is just for inspiration, right? So it won't be like this, but there's notion that when you start up, you get your episode entries in here, like when it was published, what categories it's published under, little search and whatever else. You can just like scroll through and browse them. And then the idea being that you've got the categorized version of this, what's in your library and what your profile is. And if you do search, then you're going to get some sort of pop-up overlay, where you can type something in and then get the papers pop up. If you tap on one of these papers, then you're going to get the full episode listing with, the video and the write-up and then an audio player pinned to the bottom screen that you can listen to. My idea is that if you start playing it, then it plays in the background, so you can then leave the app and continue listening whilst you're doing something else. And then the category screen maybe being something more like this, where you've kind of got, each of the different categories, how many episodes in each one. And then you can browse into that category again, seeing the same format as the home screen, like layout. And then if you're on like the library page, then you're getting, search your library organized by various different mechanisms. In this way, your saved episodes. And the idea is, if you notice up here, there's a bookmark icon and a share. So the bookmark allows you to add it to your library and it'll pop up in your saved list. And obviously tapping on this unsaves it effectively. And then if you choose date, then it gets arranged into months by date. If you click on topic, then it's arranged by category. Probably change that to category or something. But we ignore popularity. This is just like what the AI came up with. And what else do I have here? I have some other interesting ideas for search overlays, maybe in like an empty state. So based on topics you're interested in, maybe there's some suggested topics you can go to or recent searches you looked into. And then also maybe an alternative to how we want to surface up the results, right? Maybe instead of this kind of look, it becomes more of a something with a couple of lines from it to maybe entice you into finding out what that's more about. And then finally, your profile screens being, these are the kind of sections from the website, but all the various sections that you can put in, so your name, notifications, preferences, interests, your membership, canceling and joining and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, that's the full app. So yeah, I was just going to work on some of these screens. I've got this working with signals.
Yay, signals.
Yeah, this looks
Could
fun.
be something interesting to play around with if people are interested. People want to see like how an actual app is built. I don't know.
And speaking of signals, Roddy did a video on anti-gravity a few days ago, and his instruction was make a Flutter app that uses signals. He specifically said that in his opening statement. I went, yeah, of course, Roddy would say use signals. Pretty cool. Yeah. We got a couple questions we could try to tackle if you want to.
If people are interested for the Joe Club thing, we can start that up and
Yeah. Okay.
I'm interested in that, honestly. So
this one I sort of answered in the chat already. Duncan asks, is Flutter GPU still being actively developed? Well, first off, none of us work for Google, so we don't have any idea of anything other than public, or at least mostly public information to be able to offer you. So I looked at the Flutter GPU repo, hadn't had a commit in a year, and so I suspect it is either mature or it's sidelined. But we can't tell either of those. There's no announcement I could quickly find about what the current state of Flutter GPU is. So that's the best we can tell you. Sorry.
And there's not any kind of a breaking enough change to force an update otherwise. So
Yeah. Okay. All right, and then we have a two-parter. Here we go. Juko says, I am currently in the process of white labeling an app, icon, splash, assets, everything is straightforward until now. Really struggle with different L10N translations, localization transit. Is it L10 or L11N? Maybe it's L10N. That's right. Localizations per app, especially if only some text should change from app to app. Yeah. What do you think there, sirs and ma'am?
I mean, first off, storage for text is pretty cheap. So my first attempt would be to not worry that only some of it changes, to duplicate it for all of them, so that your white label has its own set of everything. And that would get rid of some of the complication of it. And later on, you can decide if you want to, after you've worked on it a little more, you've seen what's happening, you can decide if you want to try to come up with some sort of emerging technology between it. But to me, that's probably what my first instinct would be to not try to optimize the only some of them and try to make all of them do it. How do they get loaded in the first place? I mean, is that something you can just drop in your own you've got up, or
what's the problem here?
So
it's white labeling an app. Yeah.
It's part one of two. That's why I was like, is there a
what part you just said? The part I was addressing there, saying I wouldn't worry about that part right then. I would actually replace the whole thing to start with.
So my approach to this, I'm curious to see what Simon says, because I've actually done this.
No, right. Please, you go first.
Okay. So first off, I would have I guess my first question would be, are you assuming a single language when you are inside the app, or are you allowing the user to choose a language? Because those are two very different prospects. In the situation I've been in, we assumed a language when the app was built. And so what I did based off of that is set up the flavor, and based upon the flavor config, that chose the language. So essentially, instead of using any hard-coded text strings in the app, we used constants everywhere. And then the constant file that we loaded in was based upon the flavor that was loaded in. That is brittle in some ways, particularly if you decide to change later that you want to allow people to choose languages and stuff like that. There are downsides to that, but that was the way that I approached it.
I'm struggling. I'm struggling to understand what they mean by struggling in this sense. They're really struggling with different different translations per app. I mean, you would have everything translated right inside your app, and then if you need to adjust them per implementation, then override them per implementation, and then supply that into your white label, like whatever your initialization is.
Yeah.
Like it's a dependency, right? So you can choose how you want to handle that. I mean, let's say you've got Material app and you've got your on localized callback, whatever it is, to resolve your localization. Have that callback being able to be overridden and passed in from each of your entry points. Now you can adjust how each product does translations. I think maybe you need to understand exactly what you mean by struggling, because obviously, I mean, that seems to me like what you should be doing with all of this, right? Like anything that you depend on that's specific for each different white label version of the product is something that you're gonna know at the top level inside that entry point of the app, and then you're gonna like import your white label, your common stuff, whatever it is, as a package or library, and then call into the generic versions of whatever it is and supply your specifics, icon, splash, assets, whatever it is.
There's work to do. There's probably no easy path. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Danielle was right when she said, don't worry about the duplications, because you're going to have that, right? And so you have basically a file for each translation. And if it's the same across some of it, so be it.
I mean, there's lots of ways of doing translations. If that's the particular problem, is just like how you're trying to deal with that. Because I mean, like, as I say, like most people, like you can use the ARB files and do code, generation, right? But then again, that's where you're going to struggle, right? Because now you're going to be in a situation where you want to code generate, but the code generation to be different per white label, and now you're going to have a bunch of ARB files in every white label version of your product. Like your approach, if you're using the code generation, then that's probably the wrong approach to solving your localization. That's not the only way to do it. That's just a way of doing localization. Effectively, localization is just supplying a different string at the point you need the string within the app, right? So there's a standard like mechanism for supplying a class, an instance of a class that can contain your localizations. How that class gets its localizations, gets the localized versions of text, processes them, allows you to override them, whatever it is. That's be whatever you want, right? It just implement app localizations or whatever it is. The class, like it's just look at the code generated version, right? Take that, pull it out, modify it. I mean, the code generator does an abstract interface with getters and functions for the different things that are in your ARB files, and then the implementations of the interface are for each different language. But you can easily do a loaded JSON file and have each one look up from a map,
And again, those JSON files can be on your, because when you're saying per app, I presume you mean per like white label instance. So like when you're building it, so like a flavor, and so you can definitely pick the files you want from there.
Yeah, I mean, like you can. Go on.
No, I was just going to say, you got to figure out what's the right level of. I mean, don't try to optimize before you've actually solved the problem necessarily. So
the other thing I'd say is you can always do your own. I mean, like the whole idea of like code generation itself is pretty straightforward. It could be, look, if you've got a unique problem like this where the current L10N, gen stuff doesn't solve and it's causing you more headaches, well then write your own little tool that when you run it, generates things and breaks it up how you want, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because the real problem is if you run the generator in each of your white labels and then you run it in the common package, which has all the standard stuff, now you've got different base class, different abstract classes that have been generated, and they're not compatible. So then you have to go in there and change it manually anyway, which means you might as well not co-generate.
Looks like a happy customer here.
Sorry?
Yep. Looks like a happy customer here.
Yeah, I was going to say co-generation only works if you don't have to change it, right? Otherwise, every time you generate, you have to change it. It doesn't make sense.
Yep. All right, on to the next question, I guess. Sure. Some long name, Abu Bakr. I probably mangled that horribly. Yes, Abu. What's the difference between imperative and declarative UI programming in Flutter? And how does build context play a role in locating the correct state in a widget? Sounds like a quiz question. You got a take-home test.
I was about to say, are we at a job interview right now? I feel like I was asked this exact question in a job interview at one point.
I'm so stressed right now. Oh no.
So first of all, let's just talk about one thing. So in Flutter, the Flutter UI system is made up of 3 trees, right? You have your widget tree. That's the bit you code yourself that you're used to. Then you have your element tree. That is the bit that provides the glue, right? That provides the glue between the way you look up children and the parents, and it links the widgets to the final tree, which is the render objects. So it's 3 trees: widgets, elements, render objects. Render objects are the things that actually provide the user interaction, the bit that you see on the screen. So from a perspective of when you build a Flutter app, it's a misconception that when you write widget, and it's fine to have this misconception, it doesn't really make that much difference for the most part. But when you have a widget, when you write, checkbox widget or whatever, that is the thing you see on the screen. It's not. It's the render object that you see on the screen. The checkbox that you put in there is just a configuration. All it holds is parameters for the final render object. And then interactions that you have to go through the render object layer. So that's kind of like, in short, that's the difference between the 3 trees. This is where build context comes into it. Build context, where build method is run, is the element. Is literally element. If you go look at element in the SDK, so api.flutter.dev, look up element, you'll find that element implements build context. And that is actually the base class that all things work with. And that's how build context is as we're just talking about, an abstract interface. It's just the abstract interface between any type of element so that you can access the element tree and look up other widgets and render objects and interact with these 3 trees. So that's what I'd say about how does build context get rolled in Kate.
And if you want a couple of really great videos on it, I just pasted the URLs in the chat, in the YouTube chat. These are 2 talks given by Craig Lebenz on consecutive years at Vikings, and they're very good. I go back and watch them occasionally from time to time because I remember something new about the way things work. But it really describes how build context works, how the render tree works, what state is. I finally understood that there's sort of a building phase and a callback phase separate. I hadn't realized that before until I saw Craig's videos on it. So it's really informative still.
And if you really want to go down that rabbit hole, a deep, deep, deep way, you can go watch my last talk I gave at FlutterCon Europe, where I went into how you build during builds and some very detailed stuff in that.
Okay.
So, yeah, it's me and look at part 2 because it's me and oh my goodness me,
the other guy.
I wasn't there this last year.
Kevin Moore. Sorry, Kevin Moore. Oh. Me and Kevin doing a talk together. It's quite funny.
That talk was excellent. Like, I learned so much just sitting there. Like, honestly, and you
learned how not to give a talk. Gotcha.
No. It wasn't that. Like, it was interesting because, like, the conversational nature of it, it was just like sitting there and listening to 2 friends just talk about how Flutter works. And I
liked what he did.
It's one of my favorite talks.
I love what he did when it was like, I would talk about something really complicated just because, like, it's just the knowledge is coming out, and then he's like, so what you mean is this? It's like, yes, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
I should go see that. That's funny.
It's really good. It's worth your time. It's worth your time.
Yep.
Now, if I'm going to be really pedantic, there are other trees, aren't there? Besides the big 3?
Yes, there's this, let's think called like a semantic tree. All right.
And there's not actually a widget tree. That's also the misnomer. It's not really a tree. It gets drawn as trees, but there's nothing connecting the widgets together.
So
the widgets are all referred to by their elements.
The semantic tree was I had a lot of fun working with that at one point. Just because I had to do some accessibility stuff for a place I was working for, and I was impressed at like just how much you get for free in Flutter. Like it was pretty crazy.
Yeah. But now I do want to be clear here. I mean, I'm joking around a little bit. These really are kind of there, but if you're trying to learn anything or look up anything, it's the 3 that Simon mentioned. In all fairness, don't worry about the rest of it. I'm having a little bit of fun just making a couple of jokes. But
what was the other part of that question? Did you say it was?
It was just about build context, but you covered it. No,
that was the second bit. What was the first bit?
It was whether it's imperative or declarative.
Difference between imperative and declarative UI programming. So declarative is more like you're building a class and you're giving us dependency. You're giving us dependencies parameters. So this idea that you're declaring your UI,
right?
And then the reason why you have those 3 trees is that the system can know, oh, it's changed between the last time we did a build and actually do the changes to the structure of the tree for you on your behalf. Otherwise, the imperative style, you don't understand how difficult it is to do imperative UI, especially with animations and other things. You're literally saying unset parent, reset position, move this widget to this like pixel offset. Like it is totally different way of approaching UI where you're literally controlling that whole tree. You're working out what the relationship between widgets are, how they're positioned relative to their parents. Like there's a lot more that goes into imperative style UX.
Right. And I mean, Randall just mentioned this on the thread on the comments there, but Craig has done some great videos explaining how all of these trees work and what's going on with them. And even if you do know how they work, they're still worth watching. But for sure, if you want to see how all of these things tie together, and how widgets can be such lightweight, and the element is what contains everything you need, and how all of that can be turned into what's drawn on the screen, through the render tree, that it's worth watching, and it's worth refreshing every now and then, just because it's the kind of stuff that is not stuff you necessarily think about all day, every day. So, you definitely, if I watch it again, I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot that's kind of something that was going on. And you don't, it's not even that you ever have to know it, because Flutter does a great job of doing what you need, but it's helpful to know it. So you can understand how your widget can become unmounted, or things like that could happen along the way that can cause you grief.
I think there's also a point in doing development of doing Flutter apps. You get a point where you need to do something more advanced and complicated, and you get to the point where you need to understand the trees, right? So you can make apps without knowing, but there will be a point if you've been doing more complicated apps, you're doing more, like you're reaching the limits of just using the inbuilt widgets that you go, I need to build my own custom widgets, my custom render objects, whatever it is. Now you need to know about those trees, right?
Well, I mean, that's kind of like, I mean, it's true in a lot of places. It's true, like,
I'm just saying that
animations, implicit and explicit animations. You use what you can do. It's true of state management. You can get by with what you get by with until you need something better, and then you need to learn something better.
Yeah, it's also important to understand that sort of stuff, so you understand why multiple set state calls during the callback phase don't cause the widget to be rebuilt multiple times. Because all it is setting a flag during the callback phase, and then it hits the build phase and goes, "Oh, I've got a dirty widget. Time to clean it up." Yeah,
I almost want. I think he's got Craig's got those animations in his slides, does he, to show that all that kind of working?
At least pictures. Yeah, I don't know about animations, but
I almost want to see, like, it'd be really nice. Like, I love it when you get like film, like you get those films where they kind of like visualize how computers work, or like hacking or whatever. Like you see like signals going down wires or whatever. I feel like it'd be really nice to have a visualization of how like software like the Flutter framework works, under the hood. When someone clicks a button, what is the series of events that takes place behind the scenes, between objects?
We can do that. We can do that with Notebook LM now. We just need to drop the right pieces of the stuff into the sources.
And now you have your next video. That's it.
Oh yeah. There we go. Something for my channel. Something for my long overdue publication of my channel. Yes. Yes, guys, I do have a channel. Occasionally I publish to it. A lot less often than Makinator does.
No, it's hard. It's hard to keep that upload schedule, man. It is so hard. I spent over 100 hours on that video, and if you have to choose, watch Randall's videos. They're much more educational. I'm more about keeping you entertained for 15 minutes, but
most of mine are outdated now, unfortunately. Except my ones on date calculations. The date calculation came up again because of some DST transition that we just recently had. It showed up. How is the day only 23 hours long? Well, some nights they are.
There's some great videos on that topic by Computer File. They do a couple on Unicode, a couple on time zones, a couple on how, because it's interesting. Most people they talk about date time, and you go, well, what happens if you're doing, let's say, like a historic search for a library, like Matthew was talking about earlier, like you did some search for library stuff, and they're looking at dates when something was published, and the calendar's changed, right?
Yeah.
So before a certain time, March was not March, right? That we consider now, right? Like the system changed, and therefore you need to make sure that when you go, oh, how many seconds elapsed between these 2 points? It would change based on the calendar system, and I'm saying that there's all these things that you just don't think of. You do something simple in a bit of programming stuff,
I'm on the mailing list. I'm on the mailing list for the INA time zone database. Been on that for like 30 years for some reason. How I got on really early in the internet, and just I'm hearing myself echo back. Something's going on here.
It was Danielle's mic. I just muted it. Just go on, carry on.
All right. So I'm on this time zone mailing list, and just watching over the decades the number of different arguments that have been about what time is it in this particular city when, and all the introductions of time zones, and now and then arguments about because the way the time zone database is structured, it just picked a major recognizable city in each zone. And people argue, but that's not the largest city. And people, it's like the right of the list. The largest city is actually New York City. It shouldn't be Boston or whatever, right? And so there's like, and then the spellings of countries. People get mad about that being associated with other countries that want.
Right. No, we got to stop that. This is going to give me a headache. Now I don't want to learn.
I've got a great story though. For the first time I ever wrote a Flutter app. And it was also the first time that I had to deal with date times in any significant capacity. I had an issue where, and I was such an idiot, and this almost made it to production. I had an issue where the app would crash if you were born before January 1st, 1970. It was
Unix time. Yeah.
It was fantastic. Like,
nice.
Fortunately, I had a good enough reputation at this organization that no one got upset. But I had one guy be like, if this goes out, people are going to accuse us of ageism. It's like, you are too old to use this app. It just shuts down.
Yes, I was born before zero, so I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
So we don't know it. Like the Unix timestamps were going to negative numbers when they're before 1970, right? And that was fine because it's signed integer. Yes. And then, of course, they get represented by a 64-bit unsigned number or whatever in the future.
Exactly what happened.
Suddenly that is where it falls apart.
Yep. Well, the 32-bit unsigned rolled over in 2001 or 2002, somewhere in there. And so we actually had to be official. But that's the unsigned rollover, not the signed rollover. People were using signed time Ts for a while. And that crashed around 2002 or so. Yeah. Yep. 2038 for the unsigned one. Yeah.
Most people don't know we have a was it the Y2K bug happening again, but for Linux time. I can't remember what they call it. Like Unix
2K, maybe. U2K. That could be a band. That'd be great. U2K. We have some questions in case we want to move on in the show.
Yeah.
Probably nice to do that. Here is. Do you know any documentation?
Sorry, go on.
That's okay. Yeah, no, I knew I was there. I'm just. I mean, this is a pretty quick question. I don't know DocuSource or Nextra, but I do know DartDoc. So, but I'm just putting out my hour's pretty much up.
Thanks, Daniel.
And I dropped an answer in for Hope on the last question, and otherwise I will see you all next year probably.
Yeah, probably.
See you next year. Good seeing you. I'll see you next year.
All right, thanks, Ray.
All right,
bye.
Merry Christmas.
Okay, so Duongs asks, do you know any documentation template project that made in Flutter Web like Docusaurus or Nextra in React World? I know the website's using some sort of structured thing. Oh, they're using DartDoc. They're using the includes that DartDoc can do.
Do you know any documentation template that made it in Flutter Web? I think the thing is a lot of these things are made not in Flutter Web, but we know now they're now remade in Jasper for the Dart and Flutter documentation. You don't normally want to use Flutter Web for something like this. You want it searchable, and indexable and all the rest of it. So Flutter Web would not be the way to approach it. Use Dart web, Dart web directives and things like that, and Jasper. So that's what I'd recommend.
Yeah, definitely. All right, next one. Here is an interesting one from Hope. With AI as an all-knowing intern. Really? Does it all know? It doesn't all know. It kind of is a stumbling intern, maybe bumbling intern. Is it worth learning to write animations? Yes. I used to want to do it with AI, but AI have gotten away with it on a number of projects. It's good. It's okay until it goes wrong, and that's the problem.
Isn't it? I have problem with all of it, right? Go on.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. This is I feel pretty passionate about this one because I am someone who loves punching above their weight. Like, this is a thing where it's like, if this looks like something that I feel like I don't know how to do or shouldn't be able to do, that's the type of project that I want to take on. Those are the types of things that excite me. I do use AI as a lot of frequently, but I want to make sure that I understand every line of code that it wrote. And so if it does something that I don't recognize, I'm not going to be like, oh, well, it works. I stop, I figure it out, and then I don't continue with the project until I'm confident I understand this is why it's doing it this way. I think the reality is that in our industry, we've got one of two options. We can either go for the lowest common denominator and say, okay, well, I can write out a text prompt and AI will generate code that'll probably work. Or we can do the much harder thing and be the person that says, you know what, AI is generating this code, but let's see if it's doing what we actually want it to do and do something better. And I think that if you want a decent sized paycheck, one of those is going to lead to that much more than the other.
There's that, you always should challenge yourself. You need to learn more. And I've seen this before. We've already seen this in the current industry, is that people suddenly get reliant on AI. They stop learning. They start just, okay, sure, you're right. And you get to a point, and with all of the AI stuff, is that AI runs its way into a circle, right? Logical, one logical thing leads back to the other. Or basically just, you need to get it out of that where it's at, or give it some sort of way of moving forward. And at that point, yeah, you need to have the knowledge. So I would suggest that any AI is used as a way of a learning aid, and is also used as a way to supplement your typing skills in this way, right? Speed up your development, not to replace your development. There's a difference.
So case in point, on my latest project, and I'm not trying to pimp out my video any more than I already have on this episode, I learned a lot about video container formats. I did not have a good understanding of how all that worked. I didn't know how, to encode, from scratch a video. And yes, initial passes, AI did write that code. But I'm confident that if I didn't have the AI and needed to implement it, I could do it by hand now, because I took the time to do the deep dive and figure out exactly how it was working. And I think that the next time I run into this problem, I'm going to be more efficient and better because I understand what I need to be looking at.
There's a nice thing I always find looking at file formats and the way that files are structured quite an interesting topic in computer science.
Do you want me to go on how AVIs are structured? Because that's exciting. No, I'm kidding.
I know it already, yes. Wait till I tell you, they're the same as web files.
I did not know that.
Yeah, so RIF file, the RIF file format, interchange, what's it? Something interchange file format. I can't remember what it stands for now. No, it was done. What's really interesting is WMF and EMF files are enhanced meta file, Windows meta file. These were designed to hold descriptors of graphics rendered on Windows as vector. So the instructions that you would issue to a canvas would be recorded in those files, basically one-to-one as the parameters were, in the order in which they need to be played back. And when you would load one of those files up, it would literally just tell the operating system, here, play back these commands, and it just reruns them to render on the screen. And that's how all of that early word art was done and all that kind of stuff. Was all that.
The more you know. I did not know that.
Yes.
Yeah. Useless information.
And also, I don't want to sidetrack us, but word art needs to make a comeback, guys. I'm sorry. Graphic design went down the toilet when we abandoned word art. It was the best.
Right.
We have no more questions in the queue. We've worn our way out again. So
okay.
We still got an hour.
I'm curious about the paper app, that journal app.
Well, let's go seeing what we can do together. I don't even remember where I last touched. When did I last touch it? 16th of November, apparently. Let me load this up. And
yeah, there we go. We're getting requests from the audience. Journal Club.
Honestly, I might subscribe to this. This looks dope.
Yeah, I really am a fan. Just maybe just get some more questions in briefly. Let me get this set up. Sorry.
Yes.
I was not prepared.
Questions. Let's see. Do I have any questions from stuff I did earlier this week?
I'm excited to see what's in the official Flutter live stream later. That's going to be fun.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, it was pretty exciting last time because they did the GenUI and a couple of other cool projects. It showed Khan's instant plant recognition program. That was pretty cool.
Lane asked, what's Simon's favorite color? I think anyone in the Flutter community, we have one answer for that, and it is light blue. So if Simon says anything other than light blue, he's wrong.
I don't actually have a favorite color, I don't think.
Really?
Oh.
I don't know.
Mine's probably purple.
Purple.
Although I don't have much things that are in purple, but it's it's the color of my avatar in Second Life. To have a callback.
Welcome.
We talked about earlier.
So
you made it.
Serious question, Randall. I was under the impression that not many people were in Second Life anymore. Is it seriously still a thing? Is it happening? Is it
the community I've been part of for 7 years there? I actually joined about 15 years ago, but I gave it up for many years. My brother got involved heavily with it. Then my brother passed away, and so I went into Second Life to talk to his community, and he was really respected highly there. So when I came in and said I'm his real life brother, it was like, oh, and they welcomed me and stuff. But that community has been shrinking over the last 7 years. So I presume that's happening at scale everywhere. So it's
I feel like
before social media, right? It's really before popular social media. So it was
well before Facebook. Yeah.
If it was managed right, it could have taken over all of it.
I feel like VR chat
and things like Roblox. Roblox have kind of taken the place for most newcomers. So,
Roblox. Don't not Roblox. Please God, not Roblox.
And Minecraft. Minecraft construction.
Yeah. My favorite Second Life memory. I paid real money. I kid you not. I paid real money to get a magic wand in Second Life that allowed you to do all kinds of things. It would spit out particle effects. You could levitate. You could summon things into existence. It was I created a lot of chaos with that thing and annoyed a lot of people. And if you're one of those people watching it now, I'm sorry. I was a dumb kid. That's all I gotta say.
He's like, I'm sorry. I'm not sorry.
Yeah. A lot of people's misspent youth was with drugs and alcohol. Mine was in Second Life. So there you go.
Nice.
Right. I think it's building.
We don't see anything though.
Hang on. Yeah, getting there.
We're all waiting with bated breath. Simon made a good point. I should go to my video recording set for these because the sun is just so miserable. I'll start doing that.
Sun's still hitting me. The sun's been hitting me for the last 15-20 minutes, which is why I'm wearing my GDE hat today. I actually have a GDE hat, so I can say I'm wearing my GDE hat today.
Are you a man of many hats? That's the question.
I do. I have 6 or 7 different Google hats just right over there, all caps ready for me to wear.
Good for
and my Scotty Vest hat, which has Scotty Vest hat has two pockets in it. So Scotty Vest stuff that I have all has multiple pockets, including the hat.
So what can you keep in a hat pocket? Do I want to know?
Like if you want to a key, just like your key to your car.
Okay.
You want to stick it somewhere, or maybe a couple bills, to
gotcha.
money to pay something. Yeah, not a lot. There's one slot in the back and one slot on the side. And
I always wanted a Scott vest. I never bought one, but they're cool.
I was probably their third or fourth biggest customer back in the day. And in fact, there was a limited edition leather jacket that they only made 100 of. And I got the certificate that says I've got number 2. And I hear that number 1 was Wozniak because he was an investor in the company. And
you can't get ahead of Wozniak. That's
no.
It's interesting though, because Scott Vest was solving a problem that we kind of don't have anymore. Like, so I remember back in those days, I would carry with me a iPod. I would have a Game Boy Advance. I had a cell phone. And I had like half a dozen other things that were on me at any given time. And now all that's just a phone. Like you don't even have to carry a wallet anymore. It's just your phone, but they were still cool.
For me, they were perfect for traveling because I could, when I walked into the security line, everything was in a zippered pocket. So I take everything out of my pants and put it in my coat's zipper pockets. So I could just throw the belt throw my coat on the belt, and I wouldn't have to worry about anything falling out or the little dish that had other stuff in it or whatever. I didn't have to worry about it. I just had my coat on the belt, and then I picked up my coat on the other side, and I just moved everything back to the original pockets, and it was fine. So,
you know what grinds my gears, Randall? People who don't know how to go through. People who don't know how to go through airport security. Like that it's like I kid you not. I was going through security once, and there was a holdup in the line that I was in, and I was like, "What could possibly going on?" And the TSA person pulled out like a gallon of maple syrup out of this person's carry-on, and I'm like, "In what reality? In what reality is that possible?" Yeah, Lane, you're right. You do find that less if you get pre-check. I actually do have TSA pre-check, and it is better. But like my mother-in-law came to visit, and she was that person, and I was just like, I was trying to explain to her, you can't have anything in your pockets. What about my tissues? You can't have anything in your pockets. Well, can I have my bracelets on? It's metal. You can't have that on. Like it was like a 2-hour conversation. But
I just received my 2 million mile award this last month on Delta. So I've done 2 million miles. So you don't have to explain to me anything about airports or lines or waiting rooms or time to get to the airport. That stuff is baked in over the decades. 2 million miles since from mid-90s to COVID, basically. And in the last couple flights. But yeah, finally got my 2 million mile number. Yay.
I think I don't know if Simon's actually ready to talk or not. I'm just
I'm just carrying on here.
We could fill in an entire show just talking about travel.
Yeah, I have travel stories, man, and I'm sure you do too, Randall.
Well, you know what the frequent traveler's blessing is. May you have no stories to tell.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Yeah,
yes.
Clearly. I said that to somebody once, and they said, "Oh, I've been saying that for a long time." But I went, "Wait, I thought I admitted that." But no, it's a frequent one that you come to as a frequent traveler.
Yes. It's interesting because when the first time I flew with all my stuff for my FlutterCon talk, like I had all these like handmade electronics that were in my carry-on that I didn't want to check. And I'm like, they're going to think this is a bomb. Like, and so like I go up and I talk to the TSA person, and I'm like, before you put this through the X-ray scanner, this has a bunch of handmade electronic prototypes, and I just want you to know that if it looks exciting, that's what they are. I'm happy to answer any questions, but please, And what's crazy is that at my small local regional airport, like they made me pull everything out. They swabbed it all of the bomb detector, everything.
Oh, wow.
I'm coming back from NYC, and they're like, okay, and they just yeeted it through the X-ray, and no questions asked. It was just
you didn't even get secondaried? Wow.
Nope. No.
Wow. Crazy. I get secondary for the stupidest things in my bag because I have this portable office and it has tons of wires in it because you have to have the RJ45 and the USBs of all the different shapes. It's like I got so many wires in my bag that it does look a little scary to them, I'm sure. So what are you doing, Simon?
The funniest reaction. Yeah. I'll stop there.
Yeah.
You can carry on if you want.
No. Please, I want to see what you're.
We don't want two different shows. We want to know what you're doing.
We want to know what you're doing. People are not here to hear my travel stories, or
my travel stories either. Yes.
So the model has changed, which means the app broke because I'm not in control of the where the data's coming from. So I'm just going to update the model. And
this is why when you build a server, you put /v1/ in your API, and when you change it to something new, you put /v2 in there. This is why you do that.
We versioned our API at work, and like before we even did our initial launch, and that has been the best thing. Oh my gosh, that has been the best thing. Version your APIs, people.
Important safety tip. Or use Protobuf? How does that help?
Yeah, can you expand on that for Give God? I would be curious.
Does that protect you entirely? Probably. The description of what you're sending is in the payload in Protobuf, but it's also in JSON, right? Oh yeah, there we go. Let's just do it this way. Just print your JSON and ask Gemini to update the model for you.
I know. I could actually use AI, but I got into it. I honestly thought it was just a few changes and it turned into something big. I was like, I'm here now. You guys are chatting.
Speaking of Gemini, they just released Flash 3, Gemini 3 Flash today.
Ooh, yeah. Check it out.
So, and it's available to everybody. They're rolling it out to everybody for free, which is nice. So, go check it out. It's in the Gemini app. It's in the, and it has draw on for image to image. So you can put an image in and you can pull up a sketchboard. This is on the Gemini app on the phone. And you can write on the image itself directly and say, add ears here or something, whatever you want to do to change it. Yeah.
I'm not going to lie. I have been enjoying the heck out of Nana Banana. I've been having way, way too much fun with that.
Right.
But yeah, no, I will need to check out the new Gemini Flash version because the next thing that I'm working on relies heavily on Gemini Flash. So we'll see.
Yeah, and this is 3 Flash, so it's even better than the 2.5 Flash. And it's basically what I can see so far is just a faster, non-thinking version of 3.0 Pro. So
I always leave my stuff in thinking, but 3.0 Pro is actually fantastic, particularly if you leave it in thinking mode. But it's interesting because I actually tried to use Ollama to run a model locally on a Raspberry Pi, and I did get it working, but it was so incredibly slow. And this is on a Pi 5. It was so incredibly slow. It took 1.5 minutes to generate a paragraph of text. And so I have not pulled the trigger on this, but I kind of want to buy a Jetson Nano or a Jetson Orion Nano, which is NVIDIA's SBC that can run. Is that the AI hat?
Yeah.
Okay. So fun fact about that hat, it will only do image recognition. It doesn't give you any benefit for LLMs.
I only want it for that.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, as long as what you want to do is image recognition stuff, then it will work perfectly for that. Learn that the hard way. Don't ask me how.
How?
It involves an Amazon return. It involves an Amazon return. Yeah, and 2 days of wasted effort. Randall, I don't know the answer to this. Is Gemini Flash available for Gemini CLI?
I don't know. I just saw the announcement on the on 2 or 3 of the places that I'm subscribed to. That's all announced the same thing. There, I'm in the Google Labs Discord. I'm in the Google Gemini Discord. I'm in the general Google Discord. And all 3 of them announced 3 Flash with various aspects of that. But I don't know if it's in the CLI yet. I haven't tested that yet. I haven't fired it up.
We actually have another question. What is SSL pinning in Flutter, and how does it protect the app from man-in-the-middle attacks? Okay, so
that's a useful question.
Yeah, so SSL pinning is somewhat controversial. My understanding is that Apple and Google actually do not recommend that you do it anymore.
Not controversial.
Well, not really controversial, but my understanding is that for most instances, Apple and Google don't recommend doing it anymore. So what you're basically doing is you're getting the fingerprint. Yeah, there's a Cloudflare article that I will drop in the chat about this. So essentially, with cert pinning, what you're doing is you're getting the signature of the certificate, and then you are basically telling the app, do not talk to any server except for the one that has this certificate. And that means that you're 100% confident that your app is talking to the right server. The downside to that is that if that certificate gets rotated, your app stops working because the certificate changes. I would argue, and your infrastructure department might fight you on this, ask me how I know, I would argue you're better doing public key pinning. So if you can keep all your certificates signed by the same private key, then when you pin the public key, then even if they rotate the actual certificate, you can identify that, oh, this is still the same. This is signed by the same people, so I still trust it. Cloudflare did an article that they're saying that this is outdated and that they don't want to do it anymore, and that Apple and Google don't recommend it. We're going back and forth on this. I think there's still merit to it, particularly if you have really high value transactions that you're monitoring. And I told you at the beginning, I work for a bank. And so their argument against it basically goes to that modern SSL hygiene is that you rotate your certificates every 90 and possibly every 45 days, which makes the risk of breaking the app if you pin a certificate significantly higher, and also reduces the likelihood that the certificate can be forged in a man-in-the-middle attack. The other thing that they argue is that if someone does this, you're likely to see it in your logs and can catch it. But the question is, in the time that happens, how much damage can occur? And I think that from there, it depends on what you're actually doing. Let me see if I can find the Cloudflare article. I will drop it in private chat because my links get blocked in the public chat. So give me just a second here and I'll get that out.
Oh, and it looks like Gemini 3 Flash is in AI Studio and the Gemini app, but I don't see it yet in the list of selectable APIs for Vertex. So it might just be a little preliminary for them. That's 2 different groups, which is why it's always weird trying to figure out what the heck I'm supposed to use. So that's an answer for whoever I was talking with in the chat there. Philip.
All right, I have dropped the link to the Cloudflare article about SSL pinning inside of private chat.
So let's pick that up for you here. Hold on.
Yeah, I would encourage that is. I disagree with Cloudflare, honestly, particularly if you have really high value transactions. I think catching that this is happening 30 minutes later in your logs.
I have a feeling, but just to also say this, that certificate pinning also puts a cropper on a bunch of things that Cloudflare want to do.
It does. It does. Yes. Yeah. And they go into why all this breaks stuff on Cloudflare as well. Yeah. So. It is a very biased article, but yes, Simon, what's up?
Let's see where we got to. So while you guys were talking,
yes.
I was adding. So basically, what's happening right now is it's crashing because it can't pass the JSON, right? So we've added extra fields, still can't pass it. The standard JSON serializable wanted to deserialize the date time from strings, i.e., treat them as strings. So I've now put in a converter, which converts them from essentially from a number to into an integer, and that goes through milliseconds from CC. I'm not sure if they're milliseconds. They look like milliseconds. It should probably be name it not epoch, but whatever. And now I'm just having a null issue, and I'm just going to say I don't really care about that field, so I'm just going to remove it. Credits other, sure, good. Credit host. I wonder if actually that's what I want to put in there. I used author last name when I probably shouldn't. Where's the episode? Credit host. Right. Let's try this again. So hopefully this will generate some code that passes the model. Oh, it won't because I forgot to delete the field. Try that again. And then we can see the app running. What screen do we want to work on? So I'm thinking, let me bring this back over. So here are the designs that I generated with some AI. I did the login screens. I haven't bothered doing the code input, something we can do at some point. I was thinking maybe just do this screen with like the results, and then maybe do a search overlay, and then the main screen, like these, like half an hour, we can see how quickly we can smash it out.
Let's go for it.
Use AI to our advantage. I'm a little animation.
It's very cool. I feel like Journal Club should pay you for this app when you're done.
You never know.
Right?
You never know. I can obviously make all these fields optional as well, but this is still early on in the development, and we'll see where we get to. But it shouldn't take long. Yeah, we should actually. I want to actually finish that one off as well. Like,
wow, shopping.
So,
Journal Club should at least super chat him for this.
All right, let's see.
You're welcome, Abu. No problem.
Why? Right, let's make that one. I do need optional, so that's fine. Let's go find that one. Let's make that one optional. Again, I've not even looked at the data, so it's gonna hopefully now sort itself out. Let's see. Yay! Okay, cool. Okay, finally, where were we? Back to screens. All right, let's commit those changes. I think I want to change this to epoch milli converter or something. Don't need to regenerate because it would have changed in the generated. It did. Good. So we've got a converter, update the fields, generated. Yes, this is updated episode fields. Select new server response.
I noticed that you're not using our Lord and Savior Freezed.
And?
Just commenting.
Seems like a snarky comment to me.
Yeah.
All right, so here's the list that I kind of made before, and I was fiddling around with some different scroll stuff, which is why there's no body there. But maybe I should put the body back in and get rid of that scrolly rubbish because it is not what I want. I was just fiddling around with it. So let's I'm thinking let's get the episode screen matching the designs. As people think of that.
Works for me.
And then we can have. Let's try and get them a bit side by side on the screen for everyone. So we've got what we're trying to get to and what we're going to do. Right. Episode. Where's my episode no. Episode screen. I guess that's the one. I don't even know anymore. It's been a long time since I looked at this code. Yeah, because I was fiddling around trying to make some fancy scrolly thing, and it just So this one's got like this pinned audio player, which is pretty cool to put in, I guess. Right, so we're getting our content. We have the Sliver episode header, which I'm going to drop completely. It'll be in the history of the repo if I want to get back, but you know what? I'm not going any of the custom render stuff and animations I was trying to do. That's all going to go away. Now, delete. And instead, we'll just put this in a Sliver adapter, the box adapter. That will get us enough to where we need to be. Let's see. And then the content-wise, I'll put Sliver list in there. Let's put our HTML widget in as the body. We do actually want like a proper nice like way of rendering. It's better than just the HTML widget, but it will do the job at the moment. All right, let's see what this looks like. Restart. I didn't need to restart actually, but and we have a constraints problem. It blew up. It blew up on me.
No.
Can't do that.
Render mode sliver list. Because I think it returns a sliver.
Yep. You turned it into a box instead of a sliver.
Yeah. Let's see if that works now. Well, it shows nothing, but it didn't crash, which cannot be good. Let's change this a bit.
Oops. Oh, just so. No.
Let's comment this out. Yeah, go on. I mean, bring up any content you like. It's fine.
Well, there's this. I might have missed the episode where this project started. I'm curious about the structure of the project and how the files are placed. Would it be okay to do a quick run through?
I think we're going to caveat that with let's get some progress right now, but we can definitely go through that in a future stream. Yeah. In fact, I might do a couple of streams next week, right in time. And I think Randall, you were saying I know John said he might find some time.
I've got some flexible schedule next week. Yeah.
I've just realized what I actually wanted. Slip for remaining. Hang on. That might actually do what I wanted to do, but let's just see. Thank you, AI. Interesting. Interesting. I think
more room there.
Something doesn't make sense. What have we got going on? Let's get rid of that color box. We got tile bar content, which I think is causing a problem. We're just going to put, I don't know what I was doing here. So we're probably going to nuke all of that.
Maybe the text is black. Maybe.
I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Aha. That is good. We're getting there. Right. I think it was the header that was causing the problem. I think the header might have been taking up the whole screen, and that was what the problem was. Perfect. That's what I want to see. All right. So, cool. Okay. So now we have now we have it. So we can go in and we have the content. Yay. And we have no way of going back. So, right. The original app has kind of an app bar in it. And so Let's see what AI do for me. I don't really want that. It's really not. There's actually a sliver. Isn't there like a pinned persistent header? No, there's another widget now, isn't there?
I need to make up a T-shirt that says "You autocomplete me."
Oh, large and medium constructors. Interesting.
Sorry, I should do that while Matt was drinking.
Randall, you almost got like a spit take on camera for that one.
Literally, to be a spit take. Yes.
They added a few, and I can't remember what the sliver, floating header, persistent header, pin recycling. Yeah, these were added not too long ago, and they just help with like the need to have to do a bunch of stuff. Basically, I don't know why it's doing that, but that's okay. So this needs a. I don't know why we need to delegate. I don't really want to. I'm thinking. I don't really want to. There's another simple way of doing this, and it's just annoying me that. Hang on, sliver. What was I doing a minute ago? It was sliver.
Sliver fill.
The whole idea of these where they don't have to provide the, like you just provide, animation style, snap mode, child. So, pinned header sliver. That's what I'm looking for. Why is it named different to the rest? Why is it named pinned? That annoys me.
Why is there no consistency in computer science?
How dare they name it something that I was not expecting?
People come up with these names. We never know because we have a hard time coming up with names too.
Right. So,
what do I call this again?
Naming is one of the most hardest things you can do in computer science.
Right.
Okay. So now we have a back button. Cool. And you can scroll and it stays at the top. Good. So now we're going to wrap this in a material. Give ourselves a surface that now should. Why is the hot? There we go. On top of. Okay, so we're not going to put time. Then we've got back button, and then we're going to have a spacer, and then we're going to have a icon button for bookmarking, I guess. I think it's called bookmark, isn't it? I think it's called bookmark. Bookmark outlined. Bookmark add. I've got like a plus.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do that. Unpressed. Let's put a little fix me. Add bookmark feature.
Is that what you use instead of to-dos, fix me's?
All right, to do then. All right, there you go.
I don't care. I'm just curious.
No, just whatever came to mind. Share. Add feature. Okay, it's something. Okay, now that's interesting. We've got the scroll bar now overlapping with the icons, obviously. So we do need a way of adding this. Let's just add a horizontal margin at the moment. I'll do. And then let's give ourselves a padding with vertical margin of 8 or something. Nope, vertical. No, let's say start again. So vertical padding 12. 8. 5, 6, 1. Right. In fact, yeah, we'll see where we get to with that. So we have a back. Cool. Cool. And then title wise, let's get title large. The problem here is on desktop, it looks like this because of the default. Yeah, the default. Yeah. All right. We'll come back to that in a second. Let's see. Padding.
About 20 minutes, we're going to take a hard stop on this show, and we encourage everybody to go over and look at the Flutter YouTube channel because there's a live stream for a couple of hours over there. Part 2 of their Flutter in Flight sequence.
Every column that you put in should basically have stretch on it.
Yep. Yep. That should be the default. That should be the default. You should release Simon column. You should release Simon column as a patch, and that way we can all use Simon column.
Perfect.
Do you think I could try and sneak in my own widget into the system, which is called Simon column?
Yeah. That'd be
Makes
great.
its way out of the package.
Yep.
We don't need that. So here's an interesting one. So in this situation, we have the date and a 12-minute read here. I don't actually have like how long a read is. I don't think as a parameter. We'll put something else there for now. But a lot of people would do this with a row, which is actually not the most optimal way of doing that, right? If you do it with a row, then if the screen gets smaller than the width of the content, it will overflow, right? And it won't wrap. You'll get cut off. It just won't be good. And the way to do that is with a single text. So what you actually want is text.rich. And then inside your text.rich, you can do text spans. And oh, look, it's trying to fill some stuff in for me. That's nice. We'll see if it got it right. So very similar actually to what I want to do. So we want to put in there the date in which it was published, which is actually this date here. Bring this up. Then we can put in our break. This also allows us to provide like links and things like that on these separate sections, right? And then you can put a bullet point in. We'll put the host in there, yeah. Oh, that's interesting. Credit host is blank there. I'm wondering if like some of these fields remained the same on the old content or something and different on the new one. That's certainly not there. Let's do this and see what episode has. Okay, so we have the release string for the date time. Yeah, and the field's not there. So that's interesting. Might have to look into a bit more about why that might be. But, all right, let's give it a breakpoint. Wow, that was a really poor example since it didn't do what I wanted. Let's just do author's name. And we'll do fix me. Get author name from episode. Check. Mason. Mason. There we go. Now, what's interesting about this, I really need to work out a way of making the text bigger. So I do apologize. I know it's really tiny in the corner here. Now, when it gets smaller, it actually wraps properly, right? Like text does, because it's one string. Obviously, you can use string interpolation. There's other ways of like doing this, but it's more about the fact that now you can do things like make this a link, right? We can make this just a widget. So you can use a widget span instead of a text span. We could do a widget span, and then offer a gesture detector up, whatever, and then the child can still be text, right? Let's just put this in there just for the sake of an example. No, not enough. Too many. Not enough. Yeah. So now if I do this, let's have it do sure, print blah, whatever, right? Okay, so now if I go into here, console, clear it. If I go click on author's name, blah comes up, right? So now you can make your text interactive, right? So now we can put this with text decoration, text decoration underline, and there's decoration color. We can whatever that secondary is. He says, oh, I mispressed the button. It doesn't look any different to me. Let's see if we can get maybe secondary is black actually. Let's do a game. I like, is that like a surface container? Let's just do white or red or something. Colors red. Oh, it is there. It's just really small. All right, so we can fix that. Let's decoration thickness. Style. Yes. I didn't think there was. Oh, okay. There is a red line there, and I know it's. And let's just go stupid 10 here just for a second, just so you can see it. There you go. So
yeah,
if we wanted to, we could say, oh, like colors red. So we can like have that piece of text be different, and when you tap on it, it takes you to like the author's page or something, right? Actually, probably be a thing at some point in the future. Anyway, let's undo our stupid linky thing. Go back to what we had. The fact that you can just put widgets in line with text is just so powerful. Really is.
It's too bad you can't get more access into the text typesetting algorithm, though.
Okay, so there's some questions in the chat. Should we get to some of them?
Yeah. We can take the let's take the first one first, I guess, because it's been there for the longest, and that is, what causes a memory leak in Flutter?
Well, before we get into this, guys, I need to hop off. I just had a minor crisis blow up at work, so I need to hop off and deal with that. I will see you guys next week.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Have a good one, guys.
Maybe. Yeah. We'll see.
Fingers crossed. Bye, y'all.
Christmas Eve. Yes.
All right. What causes the memory leak in Flutter? Not freeing up your variables.
Yep. Making a circular reference. Well, but eventually circular references are
circular references do get resolved. They do get resolved. It's when it's you can have here's a problem. You can have a lot like long lasting reference, which is you might get circular references, but so this thing, let's say you got left in links to right, right links to left. That's a circular reference. Now it knows that if they're both not referenced anymore, it can free them both together. Right? That's the advantage of the garbage collector. However, if one of them is still referenced by something else, the other one sticks around because it's still referenced by that one, right? So now what you've got is a long-lasting hanging reference, which will just consume memory that you don't need anymore because you don't actually use that object anymore.
And there are things in DevTools to figure out when things are slowly leaking too. So
yeah, and there's a good example of this. A good example in things like callbacks for listeners. People forget to dispose of like a notifier or something, and then now you've got anything that was now listening still has a reference to the callback, which means that callback was in like a class. That class is still existing. If that class references something else, that exists, right? So you can't free up any of that chain as long as you've got that callback being referenced somewhere. And it may be that when you receive the callback, you go, "Oh, am I not attached to hierarchy?" Well, then do nothing. But now you've got memory leak effectively, right? The memory leak in most terms of most languages are, you've allocated memory to something and you've not freed it. And the allocate free is very much a C kind of style thing. But even with garbage collected languages, it's we call a reference leak as another term for it, right? You're basically leaking the garbage collector doesn't know you don't need it anymore because your code still uses it. You may not like use it logically, right? But you still reference it. You still have a link to it in some way.
Yep. All right. Next one is from Philippe. What is the difference between font variation and font weight property?
Yes. So let me show you that on screen here. So you might have seen that in this code.
Yeah, that code was up.
When you declare a font in your PubSpec YAML, you can declare what's called a variable weight font. That is a font that has all of the weights built into its weights table. Now, that means that normally when you declare a font in here, you add weight. You see like weight 400. Well, variable weight font doesn't use that, right? That's the selection of font, because you might have another asset, right, called like bold, right? And then that would be 700, let's say. Now what's going to happen is in Flutter, when you specify font weight 400, font weight bold, right, as you was talking about. So if I put in here, font weight bold, bold is just a synonym for 700, right? Weight 700. And then it knows from its weights list, okay, I'm going to go find 700 for that matching font name man wrote, and I'm going to use that file to render the font, right? So if you have a variable font, means you only need to ship one file. However, it does mean that you don't use font weight anymore, because this is not the lookup mechanism. What it does is use a font variation. A font variation on weight is a way of all the font variations is they use the internal font mechanisms to change the font and its appearance. In this case, variable font weight is how you deal with that. And this changes the thickness of the font based on the weight parameter given. Yeah. So.
And
hopefully that helps.
Appears amazed.
It's always supported it. I think it has for a very long time. We could actually go look this one up, actually, because I know it's been there a long time. I just can't remember. So this is text.dart in libui. Why don't we go look that one up? Do we actually get? I don't know. I haven't actually done like a look up on the history of the repo. What we got?
If you're looking at it are you looking at it in the API doc? If you're looking at the API doc, you can edit. You can hit that upper right hand corner.
Yeah. No, I was thinking about doing it that way, but I found the file. So sorry.
Okay. All right.
Let's go look at git blame in the history. Let's do with blame. Here we go. And what line were we on there? It was 1123. Can you do that? You can't do that. I know there's a hotkey to get a line, but you know what? We're gonna 1123 around here. Font variation. There you go. 2 years ago, it was added.
So it was 2 years. So it wasn't
by Hicksy.
Forever.
Font variation. Yep. Font variation constructors, more documentation implemented in framework side. There you go. So it's been 2 years. It's been in there. Little did you know.
We're almost out of time, but one more question here.
Three.
We can get that. That's actually. I'm using Jasper to create an app which will convert your JSON to Dart mappable, JSON serializable. Any tips? How are you going to represent things that don't have a direct Dart type? Because you'll have to have some out of band information with your JSON to say this is a created at stamp or something.
I'm just trying to understand, like, what is the use case for this? Like, is it a web app that you put your JSON in and it creates you like some Dart code? Is that what you're trying to get? You put your JSON to Dart mappable JSON serial, or is it or is it like you just saw here, like it's yeah, so it's generating like a file. Where was it? Models, like something like this, where you've got all your fields. So you give it JSON, it builds this up, because there's plenty of those that are flying around.
Yeah.
Any tips?
Good luck.
Yeah, I mean, not really.
All right, we're 5 minutes before the other show. Might as well wrap up now, I guess. Thanks everybody for coming by. Let's hide that. There we go.
Yeah, I think we'll continue. I'd really like to see the finished version of this Journal Club app. Now I've got a design.
Sure.
So I think we'll continue that over the next few weeks, on and off, when I get some time. So I will try and announce that beforehand on Twitter. So follow me on Twitter at DevAngelsLondon, and follow Randall on this one here.
Yep.
Randall Schwartz.
And almost every other social media related to Flutter. Yes.
Yes.
Cool.
Welcome. You can join us. Hopefully we'll get to more. We'll do. I think the streams will be more like coding streams, and then we'll get to questions as we code, like rather than the normal format. So hopefully we'll see you around sometime over next week. I'm not going to guarantee it's Wednesday because it is Christmas Eve and plans are afoot for a lot of people. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, thanks very much for joining us.
See you on the other channel.
Yeah, be sure to go to the main Flutter YouTube channel, as they're now going to be doing a part 2, a really cool stream. All right, guys. Bye.
Bye.